The Fantasy FilmFest nights just took place, 17 movies in 3.5 days. And of course, I watched them all. As you know from past experience, it usually takes some time for me to create separate review videos. And some I still owe you. So this time around I thought, let's share some first impressions up front to bridge the time until the proper videos drop. Hi there, it's Micha, and this is my first impression from the Fantasy FilmFest Nights 2023. The festival started with Evil Dead Rise, the newest entry in the Evil Dead movie series, and a world premiere. This time the Deadites are leaving the woods and are coming to town. The movie is wild, hard and bloody, similar to Fede Alvarez's sequel/reboot a few years ago. And here they don't even shy away from killing off adolescents. As Bruce Campbell has retired his Ash character, it's good to see the franchise continued in some way. And maybe we can hope for a cameo coming along in future installments. I will likely end up rating this one somewhere between 7 or 8 points out of 10. Next up was Kids vs. Aliens, a movie meant as a comedy about just what the title says. A more fitting title would have been Sam vs. Aliens though, as only one kid, Samantha, is actually fighting them, while the rest is just running around. And Sam is not even a kid anymore. The movie tries to make the best out of the obviously tiny budget, and would have gotten away with it if just having the kids cursing like sailors all the time would make for a good screenplay. The other way around, a proper budget and effects would have made up for the weak screenplay, but here neither is the case. I would place this one roughly around 5 points or so. Next day started with a solid Spanish entry, The Elderly. A heat wave makes old people behave strangely, especially the lead family's grandpa, after grandma jumped out of the window. Is it just the heat, or is there another connecting reason for the elderly to act out? The movie was also not highly budgeted, but made up for it through a tight story and suspense. My score will likely end up somewhere around 6 or 7 points. It was followed by Monolith, a one-person play only supported by additional voices, as the main character is a podcaster calling around to research weird stories around black bricks showing up in people's lives and turning it upside down, sometimes for better, but mostly for worse. It was thrilling enough to keep us guessing what is behind it all, and well acted too. Also somewhere in the 6 to 7 point region. In Smoking Causes Coughing, director Quentin Dupieux is at it again, telling you a weird as hell tale about a Power Rangers-like team of heroes fighting rubber-suited monsters with the power, or better poison, of smoking. It is surreal and utterly funny, and for good measure he also embedded some short features into the plot by way of campfire tales. The movie is worth watching for the red puppet alone that portrays the team's womanizing commander, who calls in with new assignments from time to time. If you enjoy weird and funny, check this one out. I would place this around 7 or 8 points. The entry Blood and Gold promises German versus Germans near the end of World War II, where Nazis try to recover 31 bars of gold, which are supposed to be located in a small rural town. The movie never really decided though if it wants to be a period piece and drama or entertaining trash, and ends up being both and neither. Solid for a German movie, but still only average. Somewhere around maybe 5 or 6 points. The day closed with New Religion, a Japanese new wave movie around a mother who becomes a prostitute after her daughter died and her husband left her. A patron who only photographs her seems to impact her life, making her think her daughter is still alive. While she spirals down, the whole audience was completely bored, as the movie was not interested in engaging the viewer in any way. And even the editing, apparently part of the new wave movement, was annoying as hell. For a movie that made the whole theater utter a sigh of relief when it ended, the score has to be south of 5 points, maybe around 3. Day 3 started strong with a Korean movie told in separate chapters, like an anthology, but with these chapters slowly developing interconnections. Only one story seems to have been forgotten in the overall context, but overall it was a nice feature that sometimes make you laugh, sometimes smile, but mostly thrilled you with its stories. Likely also to be scored around 7 points. The next one, Irati, a Spanish fantasy movie filmed in Basque language, was solid enough to keep you engaged but also doesn't really wow you. Taking place roughly 1500 years ago, it tells the story of people saying goodbye to their old deities just to embrace Christianity, while asking which one, if even, is preferable and showing us how people who are different are always being mistreated. 5 or maybe 6 points here. Shadow Island is a Swedish movie about a young man traveling to the lonely island his father once lived on for years, trying to learn more about the man who died when he was just a boy. It is well acted, well intended, in the first half thrilling enough, but later quite bogged down with unbelievable behavior, thin explanations and the usual tropes, so also only an average affair around 5 points or so. But then it was time for Sisu, a Finnish movie about Nazis hunting for gold near the end of World War II. Sounds familiar? Exactly, same basic story as Blood and Gold, but Sisu delivered on the promises the German entry made. It was a wild ride, brutal and funny, that should have felt totally trashy but still manages to come across as a proper A-list movie, where you somehow not even have to suspend your disbelief in the most outrageous moments. For me, the festival highlight, likely around 8 points. Of course, the next movie, Sakra, was quite a letdown, not just in comparison. A martial arts period piece with heavy fantasy elements, directed and starring Donnie Yen. Should have been a slam dunk, but the plot was just dumb and the characters were behaving even dumber with progressing runtime. Not even the fight scenes were convincing, because you could make out almost every single cut and sped up moment in those scenes, which took away the last shred of credibility. And they even threatened a sequel at the end. No thanks, maybe 4 points here if even. The last day started with Mother May I, a well-acted thriller/drama about a man inheriting his mother's estate, the woman who abandoned him as a child. While staying in the house, his girlfriend acts like being possessed by his mother's spirit, which weirded him completely out. And us too. Again, a movie with unbelievable characters, because no one would leave his girlfriend apparently go completely crazy for days on end, and not even consider to get mental help for her. Also just an average entry, maybe around 5 points. Skinamarink, the next movie they screened, was almost unbearable. Boring, that is. A movie so pretentious and self-involved, you have to see it for yourself to believe it. Though this is not meant as a recommendation. 2 kids awake at night, wandering the house, looking for their dad. You only see low quality footage of door frames and walls for minutes, while sometimes hearing whispers that mostly are inaudible. You can try to interpret what this was all about, and for sure I will try to share that in my proper review video. But now I will only say that this movie was clearly made with the intention of being hated by its audience, and at least there they succeeded. Maybe 1 or 2 points if even. The biggest offense the festival has offered in years. Talk to Me tells the tale of teenagers using a dead man's hand to let the spirits of dead people appear, which they then allow into their bodies. Deemed to be harmless unless not longer done than 90 seconds, otherwise the dead soul will lash onto you. Great idea, what could ever go wrong there, right? Thrilling movie, but again, who would let a spirit in, especially after seeing it first, knowing that it is real? Still, maybe around 7 points. Pearl, the penultimate entry, is the prequel to last year's opener X, where a crazy old woman kills off a team of porn producers in the late 1970s. While watching the original, I never once asked myself, how might this despicable old hag's youth have looked like? Yet still someone thought it to be of interest. To be honest, the movie is solid, while also being redundant. No point to attach your sympathy to, no person relatable in the least. If you liked X, you might like this one too. A candidate for a rating somewhere around 6 points. The last movie, a co-production from the Czech Republic and Slovakia, surprised me as one of the slow-burning hits of the festival. A young woman who ran away from her rural home, expected to be dead, returns to her village after her mother died. The movie deals with a superstition still present today in some countryside areas, and the way women are treated even by other women, if they dare to live the way they choose and not just follow customs. Interesting watch that will keep you on the edge of your seat till the very end. Also at least 7 points, maybe more. That's it, all 17 movies. Proper reviews will hopefully follow soon, at least that is the plan. If you liked this video, feel free to hit the like button or subscribe to my channel. And let me know in the comments if you think this first impressions overview is adding value or if I should only do the proper review videos in its time. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching. How might this despicable old hag's youth look? That despicable old hag's youth had loved. This despicable old hag's youth might. How might this despicable hag's old